Going to be talking all things Lane Kiffin, baby.
Happy to be here. Happy to be a part of it.
It has been a wild couple of weeks, honestly. Feels like years, the whole Lane Kiffin situation, I think, to everyone.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we were just talking about it before we went on there. It just doesn't feel real. Watching him at that press conference and just seeing that LSU pin on his suit and him talk about being on the other side of the sidelines of Tiger Stadium, it is a surreal feeling.
It's not AI, but it feels like I'm watching something from SNL, and they're doing a really good job impersonating Lane Kiffin. But it's like he's in front of the LSU backdrop. He's at the LSU podium. He's talking about LSU. It just still has not set in that like Lane Kiffin is the coach of LSU.
Has not at all. And I mean, the numbers the press conference was doing was crazy. I mean, I was watching it at work. I think I was watching the LSU Sports YouTube live stream, and it had like over 10,000 people. I know, like the ESPN Baton Rouge stream had a ton of people. I think someone said it was on ESPN as well, ESPN2. They were.
Yeah, briefly. I had it pulled up from the LSU YouTube channel on one screen, and then I have another screen right here that was had ESPN on, and I think they were playing bits and pieces of it if I was paying attention well enough. And I think on the LSU YouTube channel, it was typed. I think it topped out at about 50,000 people at one point, if not higher. And I was like, yeah, we're back.
We're back. Yeah, I mean, it is just insane how it all went down as well. But yeah, like kind of we were talking about this before too. Like Brian Kelly never got, any claps or standing O's his first time. I remember since, started so freaking late, just like watch everyone. You could tell immediately when they walked in the room, everyone was like heads turned this way, just immediate claps, standing up. I mean, it's a big deal even from a media brand perspective. Like, LSU is one of the biggest brands in college football, but it just took even a bigger step up with this whole situation.
Absolutely. And I think comparing it to BK, and you never want to compare the current girlfriend to the ex-girlfriend, but obviously in coaching searches, you're going to do that a lot. I was there for the Brian Kelly press conference in 2021. I think it is what it was. I don't know, years, whatever. But I don't remember the reaction being quite as good for Brian Kelly as it was for Lane Kiffin. And I think part of that is just the excitement of not only getting your number one choice throughout this process, but getting somebody who's actually semi-likable. Because even before LSU, Brian Kelly really wasn't that likable.
No, for sure. I mean, I mean, I keep saying it, but it just feels surreal. And just all like the backstory and everything. And we were talking about it before, like a lot of good nuggets in that press conference. And I mean, you can definitely tell he was torn up and that this was obviously tough for him. But I mean, there's so many things to talk about. I mean, talking about Saban and Pete Carroll,
right?
The conversations he had with them. He also made some mentions like everyone he talked to, basically other coaches, were telling him, LSU is one of the best jobs in the country. That's definitely the one. And one thing we can start talking about this, which I don't know if he was just like misspoken, but he said it twice. He kept saying he was making a decision between 4 places.
That's what I was trying to figure out as well. My best guess is that maybe Auburn came back around and say, hey, do you want to try this again? Maybe it was the NFL with the Titans, but then he talked about some NIL packages, which lead me to think it wasn't the NFL. My bet would be Auburn. I haven't been able to confirm anything other than the 3 that we knew. So I'm just going to roll with Auburn for ease sake.
That was interesting.
That definitely threw me for a loop because nobody else really talked about, hey, this school over here is an option.
Yeah, no, when he said that, I was like, maybe he just like messed that up. And then he said it again like a couple minutes later. I was trying to think. I didn't even think Auburn. I had heard, I don't know, someone on Tiger Droppings claiming that Florida State at one point was back channeling for him. I just have a hard time believing he would even be looking at them. I just don't think he would go out the ACC or out the SEC. And I thought maybe Penn State, but it's the same thing. It's just like I have a very hard time even thinking he considered those 2 places. So I think you're right. Auburn or the NFL.
Yeah, Auburn makes the most sense. I could see Penn State. Can't really see Florida State, although I'm sure they would love to bust Florida's balls and try to steal their number 1 candidate right under them. So, but yeah, I think I think Auburn was probably the best bet there. But what stuck out to me from him talking about comparing the four was the NIL packages. And everybody wants to say LSU's broke. LSU's broke. No, we have plenty of money here.
Not even barely not. We got more money
Right.
than you.
Well, did you see? So after the press conference, they had a breakout with Verge as like their little separate non-live interview with him. And Charles Hanegraaff put a post out on X saying Verge Osbury says that they have been contacted by many people who want to donate that have not donated previously, also by current donors who wish to up their totals.
You love to hear it, baby.
If that doesn't prove to you how much Brian Kelly and potentially Scott Woodward, which we may be getting into that a little bit if it leads us there. But if that doesn't tell you how much those two guys turned off your donor base, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, and I feel like that was kind of Woodward, what he was supposed to be known for, was raising a bunch of money.
And he did a decent job getting money from the guys that were in his circle.
Yeah.
Obviously, it may have been to his fault. Well, I'm sure it'll come out at some point what exactly was going on with the funds there. But yeah, that is what he was known for. And he did raise a good bit of money, but obviously there was a section of the donor base that was untapped yet.
And I mean, I'm sure there were certain people out there that were just not going to donate to Brian Kelly, especially post the Jane Daniels year.
Post the Jane Daniels year, right. Yeah. I mean, I think it only lasted as long as it did with Kelly because of what the buyout was, and fans finally had enough. And that's why we're here.
Ethan Stock, what's up with Kiffin's X-File? It's taken forever for him to change that.
He still hasn't changed
Instagram? No, I don't think so.
I think he's waiting on his hashtag, and I really just hope it's not Scoot to the Boot.
Ooh.
I don't like that one. I don't like that one that much. I think he's more creative and can come up with something better.
Yeah. I don't really like Scoot to the Boot.
Scoot to the Boot was not a good one for me. I've seen that one floating around a lot.
There was one I saw yesterday that was pretty good, but now I can't remember. But yeah, gotta have a good hashtag. But yeah,
it's marketing in college football in 2025.
Yeah, and I'm sure Lane's working the phones right now, which apparently is something Brian Kelly never did.
Apparently not. I mean, just not even being there for more than 4 hours, let's say, already had Lamar Brown in there. I've also been told that the decommit from Oklahoma wide receiver Braden Allen was there as well. He may have been on the video that Michael Cobble was putting out. But I mean, having that guy being able to visit, although he can't say him by name, is very interesting to see his recruiting efforts this early.
Yeah. I mean, U-High, double-edged sword, introduce them to Knox. It's
right.
Match made in heaven. Match made in heaven.
It certainly is. And I think, I mean, for years, U-High guys have always flirted with other schools just to see what life's like outside of Baton Rouge. And I wonder if Knox going through that U-High channel for the next couple of years will make any difference with that, because U-High puts out some players. And I mean, you've always had those guys flirt with other schools. I mean, even Lamar Brown still flirts with Texas A&M from time to time, but it looks like he's hopefully going to stay here now. So,
yeah, got to keep Blake Baker, keep the brim. Yep, brim, signaling the blitz. Yeah, I'm kind of pissed about the reporting this morning because the way they made it seem was, I think everyone assumed that report meant like he wasn't going to look into the Tulane job. And then I was kind of had that in the back of my head, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know why they would say that if that wasn't the case. And then sure enough, like 6 hours later, he's in NOLA interviewing, which, I'm not going to be mad at him for that. Obviously, he played there. It's a great place where you can go for a couple years and potentially get that next job. But God, it would kind of suck blue balls from, the half a day where he thought he was staying. So that's definitely going to be something to monitor.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the hairy part of that is where do you then go after that? Because Golding's going to stay at Ole Miss, obviously, with them making him the permanent coach. And if Blaker leaves, where do you turn for your defensive coordinator? And for some of those other staff guys. You're going to have to hire a linebackers coach because Blake Baker does that as well. You may have to hire a edge rushers coach if Peoples decides to follow him and potentially be his defensive coordinator. I don't have any information on that, but that's a real possibility.
I would almost guarantee that's what would happen in Tulane.
And I think the only person that would stay from that potentially would be Corey Raymond and then maybe Kyle Williams.
Yeah. But I think we were talking about it yesterday. Like, we're hearing Kyle Williams maybe doesn't have the best impression of coaching college football, and he might be looking to get out, which, could be a perfect setup for O to walk straight in that door.
Yeah, I even got my my old Coach O shirt on today with the hold that tiger.
It'd be just so perfect.
It would be. And I think I wonder if that's why he made the call to O, besides just them being friends, is like, hey, I'm here. When are you getting here?
Well, when he kind of mentioned that he called O and driving through the stadium, which that was a funny moment. I think that was the first moment in the press conference that really maybe broke the ice and got everyone laughing. I was waiting for someone to follow up and, ask the question that he wouldn't be able to answer. So I guess I get that in a sense, but I was just waiting for someone to be like, so does that mean you're going to bring Ed back on staff? But, it probably would have been a non-answer. There's not really anything you can say right now.
Right. And I guess he's not really making any comments about what the staff's going to look like until he said soon, but it probably won't be until after the bowl game and all of the coaching carousel kind of settles down a little bit and see where all the pieces lie.
Yeah. Got a chat from Froman. Need some reassurances for keeping Richard Anderson. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw that, Zach, but
I did.
Y'all got reported yesterday that he shut down his commitment, and then this afternoon he posted his commitment or his recruiting trip, like pictures to Texas, and deleted all his LSU stuff. So
that's not good.
A little strange there. Yeah, a little strange there. Not sure what happened. 24 hours ago, I told Shay Dixon he was shutting it down. I mean, we know how these kids are. Could be an attention thing. I was talking to some of my friends, and it's like, could be just like a leverage thing with LSU, potentially more money, but can't lose him.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it could be a leverage thing. It could be he may have developed a strong relationship with somebody who's not going to potentially be on the staff next year. And that's what happens with recruiting and when these coaching searches go through, is that these players are recruited by individual position coaches most of the time, or people who recruit certain areas. And if that coach isn't going to be there, it's not that you don't necessarily want him to go to that school, but maybe I feel more comfortable going somewhere else where I do have a relationship with somebody else at another school.
Yeah. Nah, gotta keep him, man. I love watching the videos of him at Carr. He's just like the most massive guy on the field, and he's wearing number 7.
He's a freak. He's a freak, man. He's a freak. I mean, just him and Lamar Brown being two insane athletes and having them on the same team in the same year sets you up pretty good for the future.
Yeah. I mean, those are guys that, they're getting run year one for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think if you keep Corey Raymond, you'll probably have at least 2 more years of DJ Pickett. So that'll be your secondary and your front line. You just got to fill out the linebackers at that point. So,
well, it was very interesting. I think they did some of the player interviews in the middle of the week last week, and I can't remember who it was that was talking to Pickett, but like, you definitely got the vibe that he's just going to be where Corey Raymond is. So, he's kind of like, I'm looking, waiting to see what happens. But same thing, you're going to lose Finney, the commit from Cali, I think. Right now, he's gone like, there's so many of these guys. There's something about Corey Raymond and these DBs, like, they'll follow him anywhere.
Oh, yeah. And it's always really been that way. And that's why he's not the father of DBU, quote unquote, but he's the current father, I guess you could say at this point, because it's his ability to get guys in and to raise their level to just elite level talents. Because I mean, DJ Pickett probably is on pace to be the best cornerback in the league in a year or 2.
I mean, he's unreal. I mean, he's been unreal. I remember from the Clemson game, he was locked down, and it's like, it's just so impressive, the DB room all around, corners, safeties. It's just a shame. I feel bad for guys like Delane and Halsey as well, because the seasons those two guys put together were incredible, and it feels like all the real fans are going to remember what they did, but they're just kind of going to get lost in this season.
Right. But the good news is if you are able to keep Blake Baker and this staff, you'll keep a lot of the players that are there, and then you marry an elite defense with a Lane Kiffin offense, which in my opinion, the biggest problem for quote unquote problem for the defense this season has been they've been on the field so much. Yeah. And that's what people fail to realize. Well, Blake Baker can't stop running quarterbacks. LSU's given up this season on average 38 yards per game to rushing quarterbacks. And when they do get gashed, it's because they're dead tired. Right. So you marry that with a Lane Kiffin offense who's actually going to put together drives.
I mean, it's going to be scary hours. And it's
it's going to be very scary.
All these people, and I get it. Like, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're an Alabama fan, you don't like LSU. I mean, I guess you're going to try to shit on the hire in any way you can. But, I mean, some of these people are just completely delusional. I got people in my comments like, can't wait for this whole thing to blow up in y'all's face. Like, do y'all understand how little Brian Kelly was doing? I mean, I feel like I do this every video, but he didn't recruit any. Like, was just not putting in effort recruiting. He doesn't coach aside the ball. I mean, he was supposed to be this O-line wizard, and he inherited Emory Jones and Will Campbell, and I guess good on him for starting him day one. He didn't really have a choice, so let's be honest. I hate giving him credit for that because there was nobody else to play.
No.
But past that, it was just a swing and miss on the O-line. And another thing is he had no relationship with the players.
No, and that's one of the things Lane's best at.
Yeah, and me and my boy Ethan, I'll throw his comment up here. Hankton's got to go. Couldn't agree more. We would always talk about this. We have LSU Gold, and LSU Gold, they'll put like the pregame speeches for all the games after the fact. And I mean, we would just watch the Brian Kelly speeches throughout the week, and then before the games, and we're like, this isn't moving these guys like at all. I think BK had some love that first year because a lot of those guys that stayed on, I mean, the 2 years before that were brutal. So I think winning some games, maybe they likened up to him and just felt like he was decent. But past that, man,
it gave you enough buy-in in year one that propelled you to the success you had, and then it just slowly died off.
Yeah. It's
descending rather than ascending.
Right. Well, I think I have to give him credit. The first year he was an incredible turnaround, and it probably hurt him in the sense that I think going into that year we were all thinking like 6-7 wins.
Right.
But then we win like 10 games and go to the SEC championship. You beat Alabama, and I mean that's the best sporting event game I've ever been to in person.
I mean, that's up there. That is certainly up there on my list as well.
It's just, but after that, you just can't. That next year really set the precedent for the whole era. With you're going to have one side of the ball where you seemingly having figured it out, and then the other side is just going to be pathetic. And Brian Kelly would always be like, "Oh, we just got to execute. We need to play complementary football." It's just something they never really found their entire time there. Yeah, 6-7 wins, and someone else dropped a comment, Froman, realistic goals for next year. I know a lot of people are trying to rebuild, and I get it. There's a lot of holes to plug, but, man, I just have a hard time thinking that we won't be in the conversation for the SEC next year.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it depends on you're obviously going to have to go fill with the portal. You have to go get a quarterback. You have Michael Van Buren, and who knows after that, because
no one. You have the U-High walk-on is the backup right
now. Yeah. So, and who knows if maybe Kiffin can raise Van Buren's level to be a competitor, but it's one of those things where you'll have to wait and see. But I don't feel comfortable going into next season with 1.5 quarterbacks basically. So you got to go get a quarterback out of the portal. You got to see if you can snag one in this recruiting class by Wednesday. You had the guy from the Cole Bergeron kid decommit from Virginia Tech. He's a local kid from Lafayette. I mean, I'll go recruit him for you if you want me to. But I think you got to pick up a couple quarterbacks, whether it's in the portal or in before Wednesday, just to make that your baseline. Say, okay, now we can go get some offensive linemen. Now we can fill out at receiver. I think running back, you're going to be fine either way. Um, and you'll probably need some depth guys, but I mean, I think if you can fill all your holes, then there's no reason why you can't be a contender.
Broman says no more STM quarterbacks.
That's
Wasn't
fair.
a fan of Uncle Wawa, I guess.
Uncle Wawa. Yeah, yeah. I mean, STM is always a solid team, but yeah, the Walker Howard experiment unfortunately did not go as it was supposed to. Let's just roll with that. And I don't think him and Kiffin are on the best terms as it is.
A lot of rumors flying. I also heard from some Ole Miss people I know about that situation. So
yeah,
we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Ruby, 2 weeks ago, Trinidad Chambliss got medically cleared for 1 year of eligibility. Also, Lenore Sells, we wait and talk to Lane. Did that happen with Trinidad? I don't know if that's official yet.
I think he's waiting for them to come to that decision. From what I heard, that they're confident he'll get it. We should just call this the Diego Pavia rule at this point. But here's my thing. I would love Trinidad. I think he would be awesome at LSU. If Trinidad decides to stay, I also wouldn't hate going and taking Austin Simmons because the odds of both of them staying there pretty low.
Yeah, Austin Simmons isn't going to wait another year.
No. And he already knows your offense. He already has a relationship with you. Come on.
Right. And he kind of struggled out the gate. I mean, I wouldn't say struggle, but he didn't set the world on fire.
Right.
I mean, I guess they really only play that Kentucky game and whoever they played before that, which was nobody.
Right. But I mean, he's still young. He's got.
Well, he's like 17 still, right? I mean, he graduated high school at like 5 years old. I heard that 100 times. So, look, I mean, Lane's going to know. So, I think he's a Lane. Like, I'm sure that the reason he went to Ole Miss was because of Kiffin.
Right.
I have a hard time believing if Kiffin thinks something of him, then obviously we're going to take him, and I imagine he does.
I wouldn't mind the Marcellus either.
Release the Walker Howard files. No, we're going to let Uncle Wawa. We're just going to let him chill up there at UL.
I do have to see him down the road every once in a while, so I'd rather not get into that.
Austin Simmons is staying there, I think. I mean, he could. Especially if Chambliss is going to leave, then I imagine.
Then he would absolutely stay. If for some reason they both stay, then I don't think.
I just have a hard time believing.
Right.
One of them is going to blow.
I mean, there will be someone in the portal that you can go get. Levitt.
It's already. There was some like CBS article today saying like they expect LSU to be in play for Levitt. I don't know how they would already know that. Maybe they're just assuming, which.
I mean, we have the NIL budget for it.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to have this. Sounds like more money than we even did last year to go spend in the portal. So,
right.
I think we got to do it. Colin Hurley done for it? Yeah.
Probably. I mean, that nothing ever really came out about why he was away from the team besides just personal / family reasons. So you would assume that he's just had enough of LSU for whatever reason. So
it seems like he was maybe like the one big Brian Kelly guy on the team because I remember after his accident in the offseason that I think Bruce Feldman put out a piece about it, and it was very like the whole family was very complimentary of Brian Kelly and all these things, and you could always tell from the press conferences when they would ask about him, like, I think he really did like Colin. It's kind of how I felt about Ricky Collins last year. It's like, if you're not better than Van Buren at this point in time, the odds are you're ever going to get on the field is just low. And, we know how Ricky Collins' situation was played out at Syracuse. Not the best.
It was a guy who you thought would have a lot of promise and just kind of never really took that jump you were hoping for. And
I remember when we got him, like he went to Woodlawn, right? He was like a late take. He was committed to Purdue, and I'm trying to think if we had a QB commit decommitted, and we kind of picked him up last second. So
that sounds about right. I think that sounds familiar. I would have to go back and look for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Kiffin does with this next year's quarterback class, because you got Pop, who I think we all love, but you also got Haven right there, and Haven, I hear a lot of like mixed people think he's overrated, but also people want to get him just because he's like he's a top 7 player in the country, number 1 quarterback. So
right. Not to
it'll be
mention
interesting to see how that plays out.
He's committed to Alabama, isn't he?
I think maybe they like fonged him there, but I don't know.
Maybe.
If
Either way, he's got some kind of tie there.
Yeah, I'm cool with Pop. I think he's unreal.
Watching his highlights is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and he's a lot faster than I gave him credit for in the beginning, or I guess never really watched him play. And I think Rivals has him listed as like a pocket passer, but I mean,
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah. He had some crazy highlight from it. I think the first round of the playoffs where he ran like 60-yard touchdown, probably ran like 120 yards actually on the play back and forth. It's just Lane Kiffin offense, man. It's going to play so well.
And it's going to be nice to have a running quarterback again.
Oh, we can never
go back.
We can never do that again.
No. I respect and appreciate Nuss for his commitment to LSU and sticking through everything. But damn, man, you got to take off sometimes.
Yeah. He's slower. He was slower this year than he was last year. Maybe it has something to do with his supposed injury or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't know. That's been played out enough. What do you want to talk about from this press conference? Because there was a lot. We already talked about the supposed mystery team that was potentially in play.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to talk about is I think someone asked him, what was it about, Verge and LSU when they originally met that like made Kiffin think that this would work out. And he said, Verge told him, I'm going to give you all the resources. I'm just going to let you coach and do your thing. I'm not going to meddle. From what I've heard on the Florida side of things, that felt like a little dig at Scott Strickland, if you're asking me.
Well, New York Post, not really a sports outlet, but posted something a few hours ago saying Lane Kiffin wanted the Florida coaching job until he met with the school's AD. That tells you what you need to know.
Yeah. I mean, there were the rumors that originally Strickland and Florida were trying to they weren't going to let Glasscock come as GM, and they were, vetting other GMs to put with him. I mean, why they thought that would be a good idea, especially with as good as a GM as Glasscock is. Why?
Right. I mean, arguably putting together 2 of the best rosters in the history of Ole Miss football. But no, you can stay over there. We don't want to take you with us.
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
All the diamond in the rough guys they've gotten over the years there, especially. And I just think that they just got someone from the Eagles front office or something. We'll see how that works out for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like every time that these colleges try to do something where they're bringing NFL people in, it is a lot similar now than maybe 10 years ago the college game was the NFL, but if you're Florida, you can still pretty much get, most of the GMs, hey, we're about to have fire ours more than likely. That's pretty good. Austin Thomas, maybe he goes back to Ole Miss, but that wouldn't have been a bad option for them there.
Yeah. And I think if that was indeed Austin Thomas with him on the balcony the other day, I can't tell from a video from 200.
The guy came out. I can't remember the account. He said he apologized. It wasn't him.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I think. I mean, if there's not any hard feelings for Austin Thomas leaving Lane while he was at Ole Miss, then maybe there'll be room on the staff for both of them. Who knows? But it's kind of how it's looking right now is that Glasscock's going to take over and Austin Thomas will be somewhere else next season because he will find a job.
Yeah, everything I've read made it seem like maybe the Ole Miss departure wasn't as smooth and nice and pretty as maybe we LSU fans were hoping in terms of keeping him. So,
yeah. My favorite thing about the Verge comment, though, was that he's going to let Kiffin coach and give him everything he needs and just let you handle the football stuff. That is something Scott Woodward would never have done.
Yeah, I was
never have done.
Scott Woodward sitting watching that party. He's like, well, that's the whole fun of the job.
I'm going to put your assistant coaches on your staff, and you're going to have to deal with them. That's how this is going to work.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of been brought up the last couple of days that Woodward would have had like zero interest in going after Kiffin. Which, I mean, can you imagine the fan base if we went out and hired like Drinkwitz, and then it's like we didn't even go after Kiffin. We didn't want him. I mean,
we'd be Florida right now.
Yeah.
We would be Florida right now. We would be hiring a John Summerall or an Alex Golish, and it's not like there's anything wrong with those guys. But instead, you got your number one choice for the first time, maybe since Saban. Maybe I wasn't, conscious at that age to tell you if Saban was your number one choice. But like the number one choice for the first time in at least 3 cycles, and you did it. Like hats off to Verge for that, man.
Yeah. Oh man, Verge, man, for the amount of doubt I think we all had going into the whole situation with him, like, is he interim, is he permanent, or is he back to interim? He knocked it out of the park, man. Give him an extension already.
Yeah, honestly. Absolutely. For sure. And I think, I'm going to use one of Brian Kelly's buzzwords and try not to cringe, but that's what Kiffin had kind of talked about. It's like the alignment from the governor down to the president to Verge to everybody involved is we want to get LSU back to the top. And that's not something you could say at Florida, at Ole Miss, having the governor of the state involved, because they have other power programs in their state that they also have to take care of. And every Florida fan said, oh, that's not a factor, whatever. It obviously was. If you have that kind of alignment from the top to the bottom in the state, everybody's moving towards the same goal.
I mean, just hearing that, you wouldn't have believed it, 5-6 weeks ago when all this shit started hitting the fan, talking about we're going to have Lane Kiffin at the presser saying how aligned the governor and the athletics office and the board of supervisors. I mean, you would never have been able to convince me that would have happened.
No. I think the only hope I had was you had the governor mouthing off. Whatever your politics are, he was saying some things and he needed to stop, right? But if you look at some of the things he was saying, talking about the big buyouts and the way contracts are structured and things like that, and then you go look at Lane Kiffin's press conference after, I guess it was the Citadel. They asked him about Brian Kelly getting fired and the buyouts and the contracts, and Lane kind of said some similar things to what the governor was saying when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it was like, interesting.
Very interesting. It was cool to hear that Landry and Kiffin talked to one another and that it went well.
Yeah. I think that's, as much as people were pissed off that he was running his mouth, rightfully or wrongfully, that is what you hear outside of political opinions. I mean, Moscona is I'd say apolitical, but he even said, I have good conversations with him. I like him as a person. So I guess at a human level, you look at the governor and say, okay, like he's probably an okay dude, maybe. Like he got you a head coach.
Yeah. And I can see him and Kiffin getting along well because they're just two like massive personalities.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love to hear the absolute class from top administrators at the airport. Oh, yeah. I love that part of the press conference where he said, he's talking about how the whole airport scene and that people are trying to run him off the road and just kind of how somber and solace it all was leaving. And he said, even on the plane, part of him was saying to himself, like, oh my God, like, what am I doing to an extent? And he said when he got off the plane, and I'm guessing it was like, I think Verge flew with him or whatever, but it was probably all like the board of supervisors and probably I think Roos was there, all there, and he said he felt the power of the place immediately. And I love that he used that word power, because I think all us LSU fans are starting to play into we're back to being the evil empire. Like everyone's gonna hate us from now on. Like people already hate LSU, but this is just gonna ratchet up 10x, especially when we start doing good. So just him saying he felt the power of the place like immediately, and he just looking at the stadium and he's immediately like, Like I now I know I made the right decision.
Yeah.
That was a great moment.
And I'd love to hear the conversation he had with Coach O. As soon as he started talking about driving past the stadium into the facility, and he's calling Coach O. He's like, "This place makes me feel like you." And I was like, I would have loved to have heard that conversation because I can just imagine Lane Kiffin doing his best Coach O accent, doing a "Go Tigers."
Oh yeah. And they had to talk about a little bit more than just that on that phone call.
I'm sure there's something there. We shall see.
Let's get to some more comments here. My man Miguel, Kiffin's presser today alone cleared every buzzword BK presser. Yeah. I'm a big press conference junkie, even in the off season. I know some people hate them because you don't get a lot out of them. And I'd agree with that. And Brian Kelly's press conference, a lot are pretty similar. You're going to hear alignment. You need complimentary football. It was a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah. And then probably the most meatiest thing Brian Kelly ever gave LSU was, "Oh, you're spoiled."
Yeah, he had a couple of moments, man. And it would always be after the game. I think during the week, when he could come out on Monday with his Navy suit on and everything, he'd be pretty buttoned up. And it would be, he is a politician, and he would do okay with that. But, man, after the games was where he had all his, memorable moments, good or bad. Like, obviously, that was the beginning of the end. Yeah, obviously, dining table. What was it after the OU game? We're taking receipts and we're going to see you in the national championship. His emotions will run very hot after the end of those games.
Yeah, it's like he actually developed a personality, for better or for worse, at that point. So
y'all are spoiled. Yeah, we're so spoiled though. We get 5 picks and a pick 6, and we score 20 points, including the pick 6.
Right. Oof. That defense needed the offense, and we are finally getting a good offense after 2 years, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Just play complimentary football. Play complimentary football.
He's going to love playing in the greatest stadium in college football instead of a high school field at Oxford. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We're saying, people are trying to, Ole Miss fans were ragging on us a couple weeks ago for the Arkansas kickoff. It was 70% full or whatever. And, stadium is bigger as Tiger Stadium. That's going to make it look like nobody's there.
Right.
But in reality, when they played Florida, and it's like their biggest attendance ever, that's still less people than we had at that noon Arkansas game where it doesn't matter. So.
Right. I mean, he talked a lot about the atmosphere of Tiger Stadium as well. And I think he kind of compared what he hopes it looks like as when he's on the home sideline compared to the away sideline. He brought up the 2014, I think, Alabama overtime game where LSU lost, and last year's overtime game. And he talked about how you're on the away sideline and you can hear everything, and the weight is just insurmountable on you. And when I'm assuming he's talking to Saban and about this, but being on the home sideline, it's uplifting. You feel almost like you're flying in a way. And him marrying that with his coaching style was something that he was very much looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, under Brian Kelly, we probably won 90% of the home games. I mean, Kiffin may never lose the home
games. You'd hope not. Seriously, I think I feel like, especially the way things went down the past year with Brian Kelly, and just kind of the apathy almost that the fan base felt towards the program especially after Texas A&M. You get the most exciting hire and you play a fun brand of football, you will have some electric atmospheres coming up. You can guarantee that.
I mean, I was at the Florida game this year. That was electric. With Kiffin, I mean, that Clemson game next year, to start the Kiffin area, I mean, it is going to be a madhouse in there, I would bet.
It is. And I have some Clemson friends that I cannot wait for them to experience the real Death Valley. Clemson Stadium was nice. It was fun. Was not LSU. I can.
It's not the same.
It was not nearly the same.
Yeah. God, that Clemson game. I quote tweeted what you said and was like, imagine showing people this picture of Lane Kiffin listed as the LSU head coach in August.
Seriously, it just doesn't. I don't know when it will feel real. It may be his first like quote unquote weekly press conference. It may be the spring game. It may be right before Clemson. It may be when you see him step on the field for the Clemson game. But it just does not feel real yet.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot of getting used to it in the best possible way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy to hear how much impact Pete Carroll had on Kiffin. Thought it would be mostly Saban. Yeah. I guess I didn't know how much Pete and Monty went back. So,
yeah.
That was interesting to hear.
Yeah, and I think he did not go into the conversation he had with Saban, and he was very strategic about that.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it was to protect Saban's reputation, because what I'm going to guess that Saban said is it's the best program in the country. And I think that's the only reason why he would have withheld that information, because of Saban's relationship with Alabama. And if that's being told to you by Alabama's GOAT, then it's not necessarily a good look for the parties involved. So I think that's probably why you heard more about Carroll than Saban.
For sure. I mean, you can read the tea leaves too. Like, he mentioned before that like everyone he talked to in the industry, which I have to imagine is other coaches at big time programs, was like, yeah, that LSU job compared to the other ones you're looking at is a lot better setup. And he said he couldn't say anything because the Bama, but yeah, I saw some Bama fans complaining over the last couple of days, like, oh, I can't believe Nick is doing this. Man, you guys got to stay over us. This is a fucking lease.
He was ours first. Yeah, he was ours first.
Miss me with that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure his coaches, SEC coaches group chat had something to do with that too. Kirby not wanting to see him every single year if he decided to go to Florida.
Oh, that has to be part of the reason why. Because I mean, it's been almost damn near reported that Kirby was one of the people he talked to that told him to go to LSU. Like, he doesn't want Lane Kiffin in Florida.
Well, and Kirby, having spent time here too, also probably understands a little bit about what this place is like when it's properly nurtured.
Right. Get some more chats. I don't miss at Tennessee next year's storybook script. Yeah.
That'll be fun. That'll be lots of fun.
Minus 2,000 to be game day.
Yeah.
And at Tennessee, that'll be tough as well.
Who do you think is going to be worse? Tennessee at Kiffin's first trip back, or Ole Miss?
Ole Miss, 100%. Because the wound is so fresh. I mean, what was Tennessee? It had been like 8 years.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They're going to have an elevated police presence for that to make sure nobody's throwing shit like they did for the Tennessee game.
And Lane Kiffin is already playing into it. Like, I was up to past midnight last night, and Kiffin is putting stories on his Instagram, like a picture of that game saying spot the ball. Like, holy shit, man. He is already playing into it. He hadn't even been the coach for 6 hours yet. That game.
He's a petty bitch, but he's our petty bitch now, and I love it.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but his personality is going to play so well at LSU with the fans.
Absolutely.
That shit talking mentality. I don't think there's a better fit, honestly, of any active coach that we could have gotten.
No. I mean, I think Lanning probably would have been in the same vein as Kiffin when it comes to personality. Dillingham is probably close, but I don't think he has
he's not this troll. Yeah.
Right. It doesn't have the swag, I guess, that Lane Kiffin does.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't know Kiffin's playbook was built off Monty Pete Saban defensive scheme. I mean,
that was very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it made sense what he said, growing up around all these crazy defensive coaches. He gets to hear what gives him problems. So that makes a lot of sense.
One of those moments.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Kendall Briles thing was interesting. That was a good question. Can't remember who asked. I do remember that Kendall Briles was with him at FAU. but I guess I never really put two and two together how much that affected his offense.
Right, and I think, I mean, obviously being a part of the coaching trees that he is, Bryles, Carroll, Saban, developing his scheme. I mean, that's it makes sense when he talks about it being the most unique scheme in the country.
For sure. LSU fan Dan in the chat. Is Dan in the chat, man? Come on, Dan, throw a comment if you're here. Let's see. I was hoping he was going to troll Moscano when he asked Kiffin a question. Yeah, I could see that being an interesting coach-media relationship. Because I'm sure that Kiffin has seen that video from, what was it, earlier this year?
Yeah, I think it was playoff time last year, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember, but I hadn't seen that video until
Neither did I.
Recently, and I was like, ooh, that is a tough look.
That's a tough look. And I would almost guarantee you that's going to get brought up by Kiffin at some point. But in fairness to Moscano, like, you got to ride for the coach you have, right? I mean, I do the same thing. But it's Absolutely. So nice not having to defend Brian Kelly anymore. I'll say that because, I mean, everyone hated him. And it's right. You have to stick up for him because he's the coach. But, it is what it is. Let's see. What else? Ole Miss is all preppy white dorks. It'll be interesting to see how they do these playoffs, man. And I know there was some reporting today by one account that LSU had sent a plane back and Kevin Smith, I don't know.
Coach, yeah.
And
Kevin Smith
and it wasn't
Garrison.
Craig, though. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Craig. It was Garrison, which I'm just going to classify that as a rumor. And if they brought their offensive line coach, then I'm thrilled. I am thrilled. That was my number one target for offensive line coach if we went down that path.
I heard if they don't get him, Derek Nix, I think is the Auburn's O-line coach.
Mm-hmm.
People mentioned him, and then same thing. I think we had talked about previously. What's fucking Auburn's DC's name right now? I'm doing a great job. Durkin, yeah. I mean, he was at Ole Miss with Kiffin before he went to A&M, and that was a strictly money thing.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's very much up in the air right now if he's going to go back to Auburn because I think there's some hard feelings about him not getting the job.
Yeah, there's got to be. He pleaded for that job basically, and then they pivoted at the last minute. And I think if you do lose Blake Baker to Tulane, Durkin would not be up that higher at all to replace Blake Baker.
Yeah. That'd probably be the best hire you could make.
Absolutely.
From like an optics standpoint.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think who else would be in the running. I don't know. We'd have to go back and look at the staffs.
It would be a tough conversation to kind of identify that because, I mean, anybody that Lane had worked with Alabama is either retired basically or pretty much a head coach or at a higher level than what would be the DC at LSU, or his DC at FAU, I'm pretty sure was Chris Kiffin.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it might be an out of the box, out of the blue. Hey, come have some fun with us kind of hire.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what is the prevailing thought on what Chris is going to coach? Safeties, I maybe heard.
I guess it depends on what Blake Baker does. Maybe they just let Blake Baker call the defensive plays and they let Chris Kiffin do the linebackers. I don't know. I mean,
that's interesting.
Would be interesting to see if that would be how that plays out. I don't know. I mean, you're basically building a super staff at this point. So somebody's got to, delegate some control somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, got some questions here. Frank Wilson future. It seems like he's staying. I think it came out that him and Kiffin had talked once or twice in the past week, so they're gonna find something for him. Someone mentioned on Twitter that I like say Kevin Smith does come. I don't really want, him moving the tight ends coach just for the sake of it. You could potentially do like associate head coach, and that way he can stay technically on the field, but it's also would end up being more of a recruiting thing. But
Yeah.
I feel confident he's going to be on the staff at this point.
He was the wide receivers coach for Lane at Tennessee. So is that potentially an option? I don't know. It would seem like
is it official that
the
Ole Miss wide receivers coach came? Because I saw that multiple places.
Yeah, that was the report that they had two of their they have two wide receivers coach essentially. One is a full-time coach and the other is a graduate assistant. I'm trying to pull up the names, but one coached outside, the other coached inside. The graduate assistant wide receivers coach was Sawyer Jordan, and the full-time was George McDonald.
So I think it was George McDonald that was reported that he.
I think both.
I'm pretty sure. Both. Okay.
I think both. I'm basically just pulling different reports and conglomerating them together in like a spreadsheet that I have at this point.
No, yeah. I like that. I mean, I think they've done a great job with their receivers, especially they're finding some gems for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, you have those guys who are able to develop that talent, and then you can recruit LSU as wide receiver. You're going to get some guys.
Which somehow Cortez Huntington was never able to do at the high school level unless the kid was from Louisiana dying to go to LSU, which was always something that I found very frustrating.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to trash the guys that we got out of the portal, but you're LSU and you shouldn't have to do that as much as you did this past season.
Right. And they whiffed. They whiffed. The Nick Anderson one is so tough to me because that was about as non-factor as you can possibly get. And then Barry and Brown, I have mixed opinions about because that week 1 game against Clemson, then he got screwed on that overturned touchdown. You see the flashes. He's had, butterfingers for a majority of the season now, but I feel like if he was, I think he's out of eligibility.
I think Barry is. I think Nick has a year left.
Nick could come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But will he? We'll see.
Hey, come boost your draft stock in a season with Lane Kiffin.
That's how I feel about Aaron Anderson as well. Brad Davis got to go. Yeah. I mean, I don't think you even have to worry about any possibility of that happening.
Just hope that John Garrison got on that plane this morning, and that's actually true.
Yeah.
Because I like their scheme. I really do.
Yeah,
like their
I'll
scheme.
take every offensive coach they have.
Seriously, we'll find a place for Frank, associate head coach, recruiting coordinator role, and we'll let Kevin Smith do the running backs coach job if we need to. By all means.
Thoughts on Moffitt return? It seems like that's not happening now, since they brought in Savage.
Yeah,
head Ole Miss strength and conditioning. So I think that ship has probably sailed.
Yeah, I love Moffitt. I think he did great things for the program. I think he's gonna try to stay put at A&M for a few years.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like that's happening.
Which who his assistant strength and conditioning coach is, huh?
Who?
Torrey Carter.
Oh, at A&M.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Interesting. Yeah. Let's get rid of Alex Atkins and go get Xavier Atkins back. Yeah, that'd be a great trade. Xavier Atkins, man, I'm telling you, that dude, if they were to get rid of Durkin and he's not going to come back, even if we didn't get Durkin, I think you got a shot because I'm telling you, every time I tweet about this dude, he will like it within 5 minutes. I'm telling you, he followed me. He followed me on Twitter. I was arguing back and forth with people I said he wants to come back because I had a tweet a month or two ago saying, well, we should have never let him go. It was after he dominated the Arkansas game. And I was like, well, and we playing Deshaun Keys over this guy last year, and he left. We need to bring him back. And he liked the tweet. And then I said something to the same effect on Saturday. Some was like, no, they play different positions, whatever. And I was like, no, idiot. Like, look, he liked this tweet. And the guy came back. He's like, no, he liked my tweet too. It's like, oh, and I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, we got to find a way to get him back. And he liked it and followed me. So he's like, you got to imagine there's a chance we can get him back.
I mean, could you imagine what that linebacking core would look like? You have, obviously, it looks like Perk's gone. But if you can keep Witt, West Weeks is gone, and then you run Witt, Keys, and Atkins all in the same linebacking group.
I'm high on Charles Ross, too. That dude's a freak. I think
we're
he could
pretty
come along.
stacked at linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah, Blake Baker's got his guys there for sure.
Absolutely. Not to mention Zach Weeks.
Yeah, who you just know he's going to be good because of that bloodline.
And he knows where the Cox Center for Academic Success is.
Ryan Kelly, man. Ryan Kelly's unreal. Knows how to throw his guys under the bus. That was so funny when he took a picture of that, though.
It was awesome.
With Jay Mulkey, and if Kiffin works out, does Verge have the easiest job in America from now on? He good. He's got to do some work on the baseball side of things. They got to up the rev share for them.
Yeah.
Because I know there's not really rumblings, but a lot of people, you can't imagine Jay Johnson loves that. I think we're 11th out of the SEC in terms of giving the rev share. Now I have a feeling that's because there's so much private money that they can raise for baseball, but let's just make sure Jay's happy because that A&M job opens up next year, which I would imagine it will unless they have some great year. They're going to try to throw all the money at him. But even then, I don't know. I think Jay knows the power of this place.
Or he could take the Vitello path.
Yeah. I don't know. He's said a lot of times before he's not a big MLB guy.
MLB guy.
They say the things all the time.
The only thing that would make Verge's job difficult at this point is if basketball does what it has in years past and just completely fumbles it come conference play. That would be definitely a wrench in the situation.
For sure.
I have my hopes.
There. Yeah. This is definitely the best team McMahon's had, but yeah. From what we've talked about before, it seems like if McMahon doesn't have a really good year, that they're going to be looking to move on from him.
Oh, bring my boy home. Bring back Will Wade if that happens.
Yeah.
Oh. God, I would kill to see Will Wade back at LSU, man.
Oh my God, that would be insane. Same street or quad of coaches. And Verge, we trust. Yes, it's our goat. Why is Dave Portnoy so unlikable? I don't want him coming to LSU ever again. All he does is tweet about us. Yeah, man. Portnoy's just one of those national media guys, and I feel this way about people like Bomani Jones. You can just tell when they speak how uneducated they are, especially about certain things at LSU. And that's just a national media problem.
Dick Vitale, same vein. Yeah, Portnoy can stay away. Let Pardon My Take and Megan and all of the LSU fans, quote unquote, at Barstool, they can come. Dave can stay away.
Yeah. Is Kiffin dumping Juice and buying a Tiger? That's another interesting thing that came out, that I guess Juice really isn't his dog, and that was the social media thing. So
was it really? I didn't see that part.
Yeah. They're trying to use that, to the Ole Miss side to say how bad of a person he is. Look, I get it. If it's a social media gimmick and it's not really his dog, then he's not taking the dog with him from somebody else. And that's what he put on his Instagram story, buying a Tiger. Can you imagine? Oh, my God.
He's going to go get the black lab that was on the plane to Oxford that everybody was freaking out about. That's going to be the LSU dog.
I need that story to officially come out because I think, how much money did they waste on that troll job? That was insane.
Right? That's got to come out at some point. It has to.
Let's go. Great day to be a Tiger. Great day. I haven't felt this ecstatic with not just the state of football, but honestly, all the sports right now since 2019, honestly.
Oh, yeah. It's very surreal to be where we're at the moment. It really is. That's a great comparison. It does feel like 2019 in a way, and I don't want to get ahead of myself with expectations, but that's the vibes.
Right. It feels like we got our guys. There's no doubt about it. Just going back to the Brian Kelly hire, I don't know if you knew ahead of time. I had no idea. It just feel like to the average LSU fan, the bomb just got dropped on us. And it was honestly shell shocked because that whole coaching search. I was thinking trying to think of the other names. There's like Mel Tucker was kind of being thrown around. Remember like Bill O'Brien, people were
Right.
saying him. It was a really
Lincoln Riley.
shallow pool of people past Lincoln Riley, which is obviously
Yeah.
who we all wanted. And I remember watching OU Oklahoma State, like begging for Oklahoma State to win. They do, and then Lincoln Riley immediately gets in that post-game press conference like, I'm not going to be the coach at LSU. And it was like, oh, God, like,
Well,
where do we
crap. Where
turn
do we go
here?
from here?
And all of a sudden it's Brian Kelly. And it was, immediately like just a weird situation, just having to convince yourself. And that is just the complete opposite of where we are with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be some very exciting times, without a doubt, one way or another.
Absolutely. Go Tigers. Over under playoff appearances and championships under Lane.
How long's he staying?
Let's just say in the next 5 years.
I'll say 3. I'll say 3. I think you're going to need a year or two just to kind
3
of...
3 what? Playoff appearances or 3?
Yeah. 3. Yeah, I'll say 3 playoff appearances. You may get a title out of that. But I
was going to say, I was going to say 4 playoff appearances and at least 1 match.
Yeah, you're gonna need a year or two to kind of smooth some things over. I don't think it'll be as rough as some other programs have had it because of what you have in NIL donations, but I think it's definitely gonna take a little bit of time to kind of smooth everything over.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's probably asking a lot for them to make the playoffs next year just because of the schedule. The schedule's really tough.
It's brutal. The new scheduling format did not do us any favors.
No, it's doing no one any favors, and it is one of the dumbest moves the SEC has ever made. But it greases their pockets, so 100% they cave for no reason. But I'm not hearing it's a rebuild, and I mean yes, but 2025, and I don't think people understand the NIL commitment that Lane Kiffin's going to get. I don't think the national media has caught up to that yet. I think we'll be sitting here in February and people will be like, holy shit, like they cleaned up the portal. And I'm sure we'll be, top 15 preseason team. Just a matter of navigating that schedule. But now we got a big game coach. That was the thing with Brian Kelly that was his reputation. Notre Dame could never win the big one. And honestly, at LSU, outside of that first year against Alabama and the Ole Miss game last year, those were his only 2, big wins in all those games. So I think Kiffin's a big game coach. I mean, I can't, the Ole Miss loss to Georgia this year in Athens is one of the most impressive losses I've ever seen from a team.
Yeah, and that's not an easy place to play either.
Absolutely not.
And especially the vibe that Kirby talks about with that team. It's the kind of team that a fan base really feel not that they're not going to be behind the team at all times, but it gets a little bit more juice out of you.
Yeah. What do we think the NIL numbers for Ole Miss and Florida were looking like in comparison? It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard people on both sides say they matched everything. I just have a hard time believing Ole Miss did, or else why would you leave?
I would tend to believe that they may have offered similar packages, but I think what may have done it is the ease of access to those funds.
Right. For sure. And that was apparently a big thing. And I remember at the beginning of the whole process that they were saying that they don't care just necessarily about what you're going to pledge to him, like total dollars wise. They want to know where it's coming from, which is kind of lines up with what he said in the press conference when he talked about, he doesn't even know how much money he's going to be making, which I don't know if I necessarily believe that.
I don't believe that either.
But I'm cool with going with that narrative, but he definitely cares about what the package is. So,
which, I mean, if at this point in his career, as he gets into the beginning of his prime, it's about legacy for him. If he wants to go win national championships, he's going to have to be able to build a top level roster.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have a pretty easy time doing that here.
Yeah, he should. QBU, as he posted pictures of the Burrow and Daniels jerseys.
Oh God, that was.
That got me excited.
I was loving his initial post last night. Like it's just all sinking in still. Would Kiffin leave us for Bama? I'll defer that to you because we've talked about this before.
No, he is not going to leave for Alabama. Obviously, there is a past relationship there, but from what I've been told, the boosters at Alabama are not big fans for whatever reason, potentially because of what had kind of gone down at the end of Kiffin's tenure there. But no, I don't think Alabama's a threat unless those boosters change their minds, which, success talks.
Yeah. But also, like, I know there's a lot of smoke about DeBoer, potentially leaving this year. I feel like him winning the Iron Bowl kind of put a lot of that to bed. We'll see how the playoffs go.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even say they miss the playoffs, go 9-3 next year. Like, I don't see Lane Kiffin leaving 1 year removed. I mean, I guess he did it way back in the day from Tennessee to USC, but that was a different situation because he was at USC with Pete before, and especially at that time, like that was maybe unanimous best job in college football.
Right.
I don't know how much is Alabama a better job than LSU. I don't think they have a better setup necessarily. I think, the storied history, sure, but what does that matter in this day and age?
You're going to compete with Auburn. I mean, Auburn may be little brother no matter how much it is, but It doesn't mean that little brother's not going to get a punch in on you every once in a while in recruiting.
Exactly.
So I think, I don't think Tulane's going to necessarily hurt you as much as Auburn will to make
Auburn's got money.
Comparisons.
Auburn's got a lot of money. They got Apple money. Will Arkansas ever win back the boot? They're screwed, in my opinion. I don't like Arkansas, but I feel bad for their fans, man.
Yeah, you do. I think that's the kind of situation that it's like, yeah, we're rivals, but like, I don't want to see you suffer in that way. I want to beat you and watch you suffer. I don't want to watch you suffer on a deep level like that.
Yeah, they had Golish, which would have been probably the best hire they could have made.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched some video last night, and the rumor is that it getting leaked so early when necessarily it wasn't a done deal really pissed Golish off. But I have to imagine that at that time maybe Auburn was still on the Summerall train because Auburn is a better job than Arkansas.
Yeah, until Arkansas's boosters decide to buy fully on football like they have for basketball. I don't think that's
exactly
really going to
sounds
change.
Like they're not doing that. I heard James Franklin was very interested in that job. He did an interview there, and he wanted like $10 million more in NIL than what they were putting together, and they wouldn't do it. So
it's sad. It's really sad. But I mean, I think Franklin's going to build something at Virginia Tech
for sure.
Whether or not he can win a big game, but he's going to.
It's not going to matter. They just want to be like the Wake Forests of the world consistently.
Right.
Beat Virginia, man. He's going to be a legend there. So I think it's pretty good for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do y'all think Durham leaves? Well, if Kewan Lacey comes, definitely be a conversation. I feel really good about Barry not leaving, just because,
especially if you keep Frank.
For sure, and I just think like him and his family are like ride or die LSU. So, and I think we both feel pretty good about it at this point. Frank coming back, so he's locked in. I mean, Durham's got a fucking tiger tattooed on his arm, so I don't think he wants to leave, but I'm sure some schools are gonna come after him. Like I mean, the Oregon thing last year. I mean, I'm sure there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Kind of had a disappointing year, but who didn't on offense?
Yeah,
it's hard to tell if that's him or it's definitely the O-line play calling. So
scheme and O-line. That's what I'm going to cut everybody a break for in this season offensively. Really.
Yeah, not much to say there. Blame Bradford last minute flip? Probably not. I wouldn't be surprised
nice, though,
if they applied some pressure, but I think it's going to be hard if we're going to be waiting on Blake Baker to make his decision. Like, there's a lot up in the air in terms of, like, who's the secondaries coach going to be? Like, who's the safeties coach going to be?
Right.
That's something maybe down the road in the portal, maybe you could get him back. I haven't heard anything about him going, even looking back at us. But look, I'm sure they're going to try.
Never say never. Recruiting is a wild animal.
Yeah. Hey, got that money package. You get that offer. Does Denver Harris qualify for the Diego Bobby? I don't know
I'm sure you'd like to.
I don't know if you know this, Zach, but I was the #1 Denver Harris fan going into that year. I was so hyped up. I had a Twitter page. It was the Denver Harris fan club. And I was waiting all year for him to go off, and it just never happened. And when I can't remember if he left the team early or he definitely immediately transferred the second the season ended.
Yeah.
I quote tweeted it. I was like, no, he DM'd me and he said, "You don't even know the half." And I was like, bro, tell me. He never
Seriously.
But yeah, that's a little inside joke with me and my friends. I was love him. I just thought he was going to be the perfect DB at LSU. He was obviously top 10 player in the country coming out of high school.
Right.
He has the very famous video of him at A&M where he's on Instagram Live in a Hellcat doing donuts around a parking garage.
He had the talent. The talent wasn't the problem. It was
the work ethic is definitely the problem.
Yeah.
I think he's at
UNLV
now, and I want to say I looked 3 weeks into the season, and he wasn't really getting any run. So
it's a tough
sad story. Yeah.
It's a tough look for the Denver Harris fan club.
Yeah. If only Corey Raymond could have had his hands on Denver Harris.
Maybe things would have been different. It would have been funny.
Probably not. Dang, that year was crazy, man. They brought in him and Deuce Chestnut, and Deuce Chestnut was off the team in 2 weeks. I think that Florida State game was all you needed to see about he was just not going to work in the SEC.
No.
Wonder how revamped the O-line is going to be. Yeah. I think there'll be some effort to bring back Braylon Moore because he has another year, and I think he's decent. Yeah. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think hopefully the reports are true that the Ole Miss O-line coach is coming in. They're going to do a lot of evaluating over this bowl period, especially on that O-line because who knows necessarily how good. I think Tyree Adams will be back. I think he's decent. With some better coaching, he could be a nice player. Ori Williams, Carius Curran.
You got some young guys you can work with.
I wonder if Solomon Thomas will be gone because he's a huge Alex Atkins guy. That was really the only reason we got him is that Florida State fired him.
I forgot about that.
Wonder what'll go down there. I mean, he got hurt right before the season starts, so we have no idea what he is. But, yeah, I'm not sure. I would imagine they're going to go hard on that in the portal.
Got to. You got to. That's your biggest hole. Outside of quarterback, that's your biggest hole.
Yeah. And the Josh Thompson thing was very disappointing. I just want to know what happened in that O-line room. Because Josh Thompson was when he went in, he was a top 10 player in the portal, #1 O-lineman. And it's just he's not been horrible, but he hasn't been good this year. So it's just that's why I have a hard time believing these guys don't have the talent. It's just there's some sort of disconnect.
Yeah, and I've seen people talk about blaming Brad Davis for the blocking scheme, but I don't know. And maybe that is all the problem is. Maybe it's not, but you got to kind of marry the two when you don't know.
Oh, jeez, hold on, man. Oh, my AirPods died. All right, we're good.
Welcome back. But yeah, you got to marry the two at least until you find out exactly what had happened, whether it's a lack of talent or blocking scheme. You got to kind of meet in the middle at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're going to have to go hard in the portal there. I'm trying to think what other positions.
I mean, maybe a receiver. Maybe, depending upon what you do end up losing. Quarterback is
for sure
nailed on. Yeah,
I know, Van Buren said he wants to stay here, but
I don't think he's going to stay to be the backup, right? So
he may stay and compete, which I'm all right with.
I mean, maybe if he wants to be like, okay, if you bring in like Chambliss, maybe hey, that obviously he's only going to be here 1 year. I can sit and develop,
right,
with Weiss and Kiffin. So I mean, yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Right. So I think you need at least 2 either way, whether it's 1 in the portal, 1 in recruiting by Wednesday. But I think you need at least 2.
For sure. DB, you're probably good if you keep Raymond. I like the depth there.
Does Ashton Stamps end up staying around?
Probably not, right?
Was it a Kelly thing or was it a Baker Raymond thing? That's my question.
Yeah, it could be. I just assumed maybe it was just because like he wasn't really playing.
Well, right, but he was obviously not playing for a reason.
Yeah, it's true. It was weird.
It was very weird because he was supposed to be big.
And yeah, he's like a 90 overall in NCAA football, man.
Right. I mean, he didn't have that rating for nothing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But I mean, I just think I'm interested to see who all gets in the portal, just in general, because LSU's gonna be throwing some money around there for sure.
Oh yeah, and you already lost Billiot too, at receiver.
That kind of sucks, but I get it. Like he's just been buried, and it doesn't seem like. Yep. I think we definitely expect them to. I mean, you got to imagine at least like one of the Ole Miss receivers is going to come. So yeah, but he was a beast. I remember him at the under All-American game, and he was like the best receiver there. So I would not be shocked if he went somewhere and balled out.
Right. That's typically how it goes.
Yeah, I got higher hopes for him than like Colin Hurley.
Yeah, I don't know what Hurley's going to do at this point.
Hurley's from like Jacksonville, right? I could see him.
Yeah.
Going UCF, USF type deal.
And maybe that would be a good move for him.
Yeah. You go play, and then if you do good, you can just get in the portal again. I mean, that's how it is these days. So,
pretty much, that's Chandler Morris at Virginia.
Yeah, man, he's had a crazy career arc for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Saban was loving on him on game day this past Saturday.
Did he recruit Chandler Morris?
I don't think so, but he was just doing like the breakdown for game day of whatever game they were playing, and he's very complimentary. As we wrap this up, timeline for this next week or two. I mean, I guess what is it Wednesday is signing day, early signing day?
Wednesday's signing day, and then I am not sure with the current schedule when we find out about bowl games and stuff, but Frank will still be coaching in it. So
yeah, God, what bowl game are we gonna get?
Just give me the Pop-Tart Bowl. Just give me the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I don't think we're good enough from what I was reading, like of how that gets synced up. I don't think we're Pop-Tart Bowl. I don't know what they're gonna be. I think the last like Brett McMurphy on 3 like bowl projections, it was something in Nashville or something in Jacksonville. Get it away. I don't want it to be in Florida again. We feel like we've done that every single year. No. I went to that Purdue bowl game a couple years ago. There's really no one there. Like,
no.
I wonder what's going to happen with the bowl games because, like, the corporate investment to like host them. What is
There's not enough eyes on it.
You know, exactly. The stadium's empty. They're shelling out all this money for it.
And giving all the players gifts and stuff that come along with the brand. And
the only good thing about making a bowl game is you get that extra month
of practice.
And then, the bowl game doesn't count against people's red shirt or anything. So, who knows what they do there. But, yeah, probably hear more about the staff in the next couple of days. And obviously recruiting, we get notched up. Interesting to see this Blake Baker situation. That'll be big.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully we'll know soon.
Yeah. And I think I can imagine that LSU is pressing Baker for a decision, and in turn that he's telling Tulane, like, hey, you kind of I need an answer because I can still be the highest paid DC at LSU under Kiffin.
And then I can go beat Kirby.
Right. So I guess we can wrap it up here. Lane Kiffin press conference. It's official. It's surreal, but it is official. And Zach, it was a pleasure having you on. We'll have to do this again.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you for having me, man. It's been fun.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next time.